So, Arthur, as a leader, how do you encourage individuals to use their voice, particularly those individuals that haven't had the opportunity to speak up?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start this from a position of being a Latino first, right? Which I've told you this story, but I think I'll share it with the group today.
Love it.
When I first started at Walmart back in this was 1992, right? Sam Walton had just passed away, and there was a vice president of distribution that came into one of our distribution centers, and he comes into this room and he starts having this meeting, and he says, "Oh, by the way, we're opening up a distribution center in Mexico City in a few weeks. Anybody want to go?" And everybody in this room starts laughing. Why? Because it's a bunch of good old boys from Arkansas, right? And Lee was trying to create some levity and some fun times within the room, right? Not me. I said, heck yeah. I raised my hand as a 22-year-old kid, right? I said, I'll do that. I'll do that. And I use that example because that's the example I use in trying to answer your question, right? Which is, how do you find that? How do you pursue that? What do you look for? And that's what you look for, right? You look for those individuals that might have experienced something or want to experience something or have that diversity or have that desire to show already a resilience by being curious or being okay with stepping out there, right?
Well, and I think this goes back to what this session's about, is how do you make the connection between diversity of thought and opportunities? And this example is that whether or not you were prepared for that opportunity is one thing, but you saw the opportunity to go after it. So Arthur, you've had this illustrious career. Tell us how you manage change and encourage others to not only manage it, but embrace change.
With an understanding of that you have to change. You can't stay where you were if you want to be something different in the future, right? So in order to change that for them, you have to disrupt, you have to revolutionize the processes and the things that took place in the organization, not losing the cultural components around care and empathy and the connection with the customer that we want to make, right? So to answer your question then, it's keeping what's built the organization, keeping what's built the spirit of what has been successful, and then going through the revolution, which is really being a change agent and being willing to be misunderstood until you're understood around what you're trying to build for, right?
On that note, tell us a little bit about your resilience journey. I mean, you've had to deal with some heavy-hitting organizations. I mean, how did you survive?
Yeah, the hardest one for me, and this was a big for me, is that coming to a little bit of my story so that you can understand where I'm going. My mother and her two sisters, so my tias, my aunts, they left Cuba in 1962 under the Peter Pan flights, which was when Castro came in and took over. There was a number of children that were sent without their parents into Miami and then sent all over the U.S. And my mom and my aunts were sent to an orphanage in Pueblo, Colorado, where that was not my personal experience. I heard those stories and it connected to me of what my family had to go through, right? So early on, and why that's important, I tell you, is that I lived with a proof point that I needed to work hard and live with a proof point to represent my family of what we had been and what we could become.